We continue now at the top of Daf Gimel Amud Beis in Meseches Sotah. This is Sotah Daf 3b. The Gemara here continues to explain the machlokas Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yishmael in terms of the permission for a Kohen to become tamei to his relatives. Rabbi Yishmael says it's just permission. Rabbi Akiva says it's an obligation. And Rabbi Akiva responds, and Rabbi Akiva responds to Rabbi Yishmael, Imkain, and Rashi over here says, Imkain delav l'chova asa. If this pasuk of lo yitam is not that it's an obligation for the Kohen to become tamei to tend to the burial of his relatives, ela lahach drasha, rather it's just for the drasha that Rabbi Yishmael used it for. And that drasha was to say that the Kohen is only allowed to be metamei to the dead body of the relatives, but not to the limbs. But if that's the case, so lichtov rachmana law, v'lishtok, so the pasuk could just write the word law and doesn't have to write any more. Yitma lamali, what does it have to write yitma for? That's an extra word, shma mina. So Rabbi Akiva says you see from that it's an obligation again for the Kohen to tend to these bodies. Rashi says, Lichtov Rachmana Lo V'Lishtok Demashma L'Nefesh Lo Yitama B'Yam of Kiyim L'Sheiro V'Lachos V'Abesulo Lo Kilomar L'Gufa Shalem V'Lo Le'Voreh. The word Lo would mean for the whole body and not just for the limbs. That's all it needs to say. So the extra Yitma, according to Rabbi Akiva, teaches us that it's an obligation. Rabbi Yishmael says, I did the cause of law, since it already says law, again, according to along the same lines as the previous summit, cause of nami yitma. So it adds the word yitma as well, because again, we're already learning this new halacha that it doesn't apply to the limbs. L'chidatani dever Yishmael, and it follows the teaching of the yeshiva of Rabbi Yishmael. The Tana Dever Yishmael, because it was taught in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yishmael, called Parsha Shenemra V'Nishnis Lo Nishnis Elo B'Shvil Davar Shenischadesh Bo. Anytime you have a parsha that's taught and then repeated, it's being repeated for some new chiddush, and that's what's happening over here as well, and that's why you cannot learn out an obligation, according to Rabbi Yishmael. And finally, the Gemara addresses the third time where Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva have this machlokas. Leolam bahem ta'avodu rishus divrei Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Akiva omer chova by Eved Kanani. It says that they're slaves forever. And Rabbi Yishmael says that's just permission to keep the Eved Kanani as a slave forever. And Rabbi Akiva says it's an obligation. You're not supposed to free the slave. My time at Rabbi Yishmael, and again the Gemara asks, what's the reason of Rabbi Yishmael? The reason is because since the pasuk says that you're not supposed to leave anyone alive when we're talking about the 7 nations of Canaan, so itzrich nami lemichtav liolam behem ta'avodu. So that's why it also needs to say that you have them as slaves forever. Lemishri, in order to permit, in some cases you're allowed to permit them to stay alive. Which cases specifically? Lemishri echad mikol umos shabal hakananis. Let's say you have somebody from some other nation, and he has relation with a woman that's a Cananis, beholid mimena bein, and then they have a son. So the point is giving you permission. You can acquire that child as a slave, that individual as a slave. The din of killing all the Canaanim does not apply if you have a situation where the father is not a Canani. The Tanya, as we learned in a Braisa, minayin lechon min umos shabal hakanis v'holid mimena ben shatar rashoy leknoso be'evid. From where do we know that if you have someone from another nation and he has relations with a woman who's a Cananis and they have a child, that you're allowed to acquire him as an Evid? Taman lomer v'gam ivnei hatoshavim hagorim imachem mehem tiknu. It says again, from those who live with you, you are allowed to purchase these slaves, and therefore you see again that is permitted. And the Gemara continues, I might think, let's say it's the other way around. Let's say the Kanani is a man and he has relations with a woman from another nation and they have a son, that you're allowed to acquire that child as an Evid. Talmud lomer asher holidu bi'artzachem. So the pasuk says, no, it only applies in one direction. Those that the birth of the child was in your land. Min hanoladim b'artzachem. It has to be specifically from those who were born in your land, meaning we're talking about a case where the mother was a Kanani. There it's permitted to have them as an Evid. V'lo min hagorim b'artzachem, but not those who just live in your land, in a situation where the mother is from somewhere else, but the father is a Kanani, so there the halacha will not apply. You don't take them as avodim. Rather, in that situation, the pasuk of lo sechaya kol neshama, it says you're not allowed to allow any of them to live, that pasuk takes effect. And the Gemara continues for Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Akiva, how does he respond? Because Rabbi Yishmael is understanding again that the pasuk simply means liolam behem ta'avodu, that you have permission. How does Rabbi Akiva see that it's an obligation? Rabbi Akiva mi mehem tiknu nafka. Rabbi Akiva says we already know there's permission from the pasuk of mehem tiknu that we just quoted above. Liolam behem ta'avodu lamali. So what do we need the pasuk of liolam behem ta'avodu to repeat that idea? That must be lechova. That's for an obligation. Rabbi Yishmael says back, what is liolam behem ta'avodu? It means as follows: Bahem v'lo ba'achechem. It means that with them, with the Eved Kanani, so there we say that it's Bahem Ta'avodu, you can do Avodas Eved, you can treat them like a slave, but your brothers, let's say you have an Eved Ivri, you're not allowed to treat them like a slave. That's what Rabbi Yishmael learns from Leolam Bahem Ta'avodu. Rabbi Akiva says, "Ba'acheichem miseifa dekranafka." That, from in terms of the halacha from your brothers by the Eved Ivri, that we learn from actually the end of that pasuk, because the end of the pasuk says, "U'va'acheichem b'nei Yisrael ish b'achiv lo sirda bo b'farach." It says you can't treat acheichem b'nei Yisrael like a slave. You can't work them hard like a slave. So we already know that idea. So again, the pasuk is still extra to teach you obligation. Rabbi Yishmael responds, "Aidi dechsiv u'va'acheichem," since it says u'va'acheichem ksiv nami bohem, so it also says bohem, and again along the same lines as before. L'chidatana de Rabbi Yishmael, it all follows what Rabbi Yishmael said. The Tana de Rabbi Yishmael, because it was taught in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yishmael, called Parsha Shenemra v'nishnis. Anytime you have a parsha that was taught and repeated, lo nishnis ela b'shvil davar shenis chadish, but it's only being repeated because of some type of chiddush, some kind of novel teaching. The Mefarshim deal with what novel teaching specifically are we referring to in this case in the Gemara. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Chisda says, Zenusa bevesa, if there's nus, if there's licentious activity in the house, kikari l'shumsha, that creates damage, like a worm to sesame. V'amar Rav Chisda says, Tukfa bevesa, kikari l'shumsha. Also, let's say there's anger in the house, the same basic idea, it creates damage, like a worm to sesame. And the Gemara says, Idi vidi, by both of these things, be'itasa, we're talking about by the woman, by the wife, aval begavra, but by the man, the husband, les lanba, that is not an issue. Rashi says, Kirya tolas shel shumshamin ha'ochlasa, and again, you have this worm that goes into the sesame and eats it from the inside, destroys it. Kachaz nus mechareves hasabayis, so to his nus, it also destroys the house. And tukfa again is kas, tukfa means anger. Idi v'idi, and both of them, tukfa is nusa de'amrina de mechareves hasabayis, when we say that the anger and the nus destroy the house, be'itasa, kishoisha mezana kasanis, it refers to when the woman, the wife is mezana, or when she's angry, lefisho isha misasekas biznuna ve'ina osa malachta. The point is, the woman gets busy with that, and then she's not doing the work in the house. V'lo mishameres beisa, she's not keeping the house. Umefkeres as shalbala lemenafim, and also she takes the property of her husband and she makes it hefker. It's like ownerless for the adulterers, and that's why it creates these problems. But for the husband, this kind of behavior is not going to cause that to happen. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rav Chisda, and Rav Chisda says, B'tchila kodem shechatu Yisrael, in the beginning, before Klal Yisrael sinned, and Rashi over here says, Kodem shechatu Yisrael ba'arayis, we're referring to the sins with arayis, again with licentious activity. So before they sinned, Kodem shechatu Yisrael, haisa shchina shora, im kol echad v'echad, the shchina would rest with everybody, Rashi says, in the house, in every single house, the shchina would rest, shenemar, like the pasuk says, Ki Hashem elokecha, mishalech bekerev machanecha, Hashem is in the camp. Kevon shechatu, but once they sinned, nistalka shchina mehem, so the shchina left them, shenemar, like the pasuk says, v'lo yerah b'choer v'asdavar v'shav me'acharech, it turns from you, it goes away from you with the sin of arayis. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rav Yonasan, Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani says that Rav Yonasan says, Kol ha'osa mitzvah achas ba'olam hazeh, anybody who does one mitzvah in this world, mekad maso v'oleches lefanav l'olam haba, that mitzvah goes before the person walks in front of him in the world to come. Shedemar, like the pasuk says, v'alach lefanecha tzidkecha, again your righteousness will go before you. V'chol ha'over aver achas ba'olam hazeh, but anybody who does an aver in this world, v'lafaso v'oleches lefanav l'yom adin, it envelops him and it walks before him on the day of judgment. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, and this is from a pasuk in Eov, Yilafsu orchos darkam yalu b'sov yovedu. It says their ways envelop them, and they go up in emptiness, and they are destroyed. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Eliezer says, Kshura bo kakelev, the sin is tied to him like a dog. Shenemar, like the pasuk says by Yosef and the wife of Potiphar, V'lo shama ileh lishkav etzla lios ima, lishkav etzla bo'olam hazeh. The pasuk means to say he wasn't with her in this world, lios ima lo'olam haba, to be with her in the next world, meaning again, the sin would be with him, it would go with him into the next world. And the Gemara continues, Tanan Hasam, we learned in a Mishnah over there, Shahaya badin, it would have made sense as follows, Uma edus harishona sheino sarta iser olam. This is talking again about kinoi and stira and tumma, talking about a sota. So if the original edus, that's talking about the edus that you have by stira, by the seclusion, that kind of edus is not going to forbid her forever, because it's possible she can drink the waters and she can become mutter to her husband again. So eina miskayemes bepachos mishnayim. This is following the opinion of Rabbi Yoshua. That testimony cannot be less than two people. You need to have two people for the testimony by the stira. So edus v'achrona, so you would have thought that the later testimony, meaning the testimony by tumma, Sarta Isser Olam, which is going to forbid her forever, Eino Din Shalot Eskayim B'Pachos Mishnayim. Isn't it true that it should only be fulfilled? It can't be fulfilled with less than 2 people. And this is similar to what we said above. Talmud Lomar Ve'eid Ein Ba. The pasuk says there's no witness, which means to say that there aren't 2 witnesses, but 1 witness is believed. Kol Sheyesh Ba. If you even have 1 witness, so we accept that witness with regards to Tumah. Now that we know that 1 witness is good for Tumah, maybe we should make a Kal V'chomer in the other direction and say that 1 aid should also be good for the Stira, for the original testimony. And we'll make the Kal V'chomer as follows. If the later testimony by Tumah, which forbids her forever, is good with 1 witness, so when you're talking about the first testimony, meaning the testimony of seclusion, which is not a permanent Isser, so shouldn't that be good with 1 aid? Talmud Lomar, the pasuk says, Ki matzah b'ervas davar, talks about arayas, it uses the word davar, ulahalanum hu omer al pi shnei edim or al pi shlosha edim, yakum davar, and it talks about 2 or 3 witnesses, it also uses the word davar. Ma davar ha'omer lahalan al pi shnayim edim, just like the davar over there is 2 witnesses, afkan al pi shnayim, so to over here, it means to say 2 witnesses. But the Gemara says, Hai michi matzah ba ervas davar nafka. But 1 second, we learn out that you need to have 2 witnesses. We learned that from ki matzah ba ervas davar. Is that really the case that we would have learned it out from there? Mi ba nafka, isn't it really learned out from the word ba? We already said earlier, according to Rabbi Yoshua, ba v'lo bekinoi, ba v'lo b'stira. We say by tumah it's 1 witness, but not by kinoi, and by tumah it's 1 witness, but not by stira. So the fact that by stira you need 2 witnesses is not learned out from davar. It's actually learned out from the word ba. That's what we said earlier. So what does the Gemara mean over here when they're saying that we learn out 2 witnesses by stira from ki matzah ba ervas davar? And the Gemara says v'lo b'stira mi ba'ilei, and the Gemara says isn't the word ba used for that? And the Gemara says hachinami ka'amar. No, that's really what we mean to say over here. It should have said that. Talmud Lomar ba v'lo bekinoi ba v'lo b'stira. Again, you might have thought that 1 witness would be good by stira, and the pasuk says no. The pasuk says ba. It's only 1 witness over there, but not by kinoi, not by stira. By kinoi and stira, you need 2 witnesses. And then the context of when the Gemara brings in davar, ki matzah b'ervas davar, is the following. V'tumah bi'alma, it's talking about, let's say, a normal case of defilement, a normal case of adultery. Below kinoi, below stira, where you don't have the warning and the seclusion ahead of time. So in those cases, how do we know, delo mehemin eid echad, how do we know that in a regular case of tumah without kinoi and stira, that 1 aid is not believed? Minolan, where's the source? Nemar kan ki matzah b'ervas davar, that's from this davar. It says over here, ki matzah b'ervas davar, and it says further on, also talks about 2 or 3 witnesses, and it says davar, ma davar ha'amar lahalan edim shnayim, afkan edim shnayim. Just like that davar is talking about 2 witnesses, so too in a case of tumah without kinoi and stira, it's going to be 2 witnesses. And the Gemara continues, Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Eizu hi Eidus Harishona. When we talk about the first testimony, what are we referring to? Zu Eidus Tira, like we said, that's the testimony of seclusion. Eidus Achrona, what are we referring to when we say the Eidus Achrona? The later testimony, Zu Eidus Tumah, that refers to the Eidus, the testimony of defilement, of the actual adultery. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Dalid Amud Aleph.